Hi everyone, Scottish192 here with the third last video of the 7 days, 7 videos celebration for my 70th subscriber. And what I want to do now is, this was actually requested on one of the videos that I should talk about what I would like to see in Jade Empire 2. Now firstly, let me give a little recap to all those who don't know what Jade Empire is. Jade Empire was Boware's, to my knowledge, I think it was their first attempt at an action role-playing game. Like no pause, no like the traditional standard RPG, but a full-fledged action one where it was fast-paced and you had to think on the fly. And in my opinion, it's still to this day one of the best role-playing games on the Xbox. And I still play it today. Well, I haven't played it in a long time actually. I just need to get a hold of another copy of it. But in my opinion, to this day, it's still one of the best RPGs Boware's ever brought out. And it was this has gone back, I think, a good few years back to the original Xbox, and there hasn't been a sequel for it, and a lot of people have been wondering why there hasn't been. Understand, maybe Boware didn't want it to go back to Jade Empire. Maybe they thought that the story in Jade Empire, which I must admit is fucking amazing, it is basically the pinnacle of perfection when it comes to Boware stories, in my opinion. I think this was actually the first. This is one of their best stories, in my opinion. It's not as good as like Mass Effect's story or Dragon Age's story, but it's still a pretty damn awesome story. It's my third favourite story, Boware game, and it always will be, because in my opinion, Jade Empire has done everything right in spades and deserves a sequel, in my opinion. And quite recently, Boware did actually post on their Twitter a quote from the game, quoted by the Water Dragon, who is like one of the main characters in Jade Empire. I'm not going to go too much into the story because I really don't want to spoil it for anyone. I'd recommend, if you don't intend to buy Jade Empire on Xbox Live or for your original Xbox, if you still have it, I'd recommend you watch a playthrough of it, because it is really good, and it's a really good game, and it probably will plug on your heartstrings quite a lot. And also, it was one of the first role-playing games to introduce threesomes and same-sex relationships. To my knowledge, that was the first game where I saw it, just letting you know. But they did post on their Twitter a quote from the game by the Water Dragon. I can't remember the quote off by heart, but it's kind of weird why they would put that up now. Maybe they might be saying, well, we are thinking about moving on to bring back the Jade Empire franchise. Because in my opinion, it's a great franchise to go back to, because it deals with I think it's Chinese mythology, which I love. I love mythology. I love those tales of heroes and all that, and I think the modern myths today are the games, role-playing games, that you get to become your own myth, in my opinion. And what I think they are hinting at is possibly maybe they may want a Jade Empire 2. Now, what I would like to see in Jade Empire 2 is very specific, because I've had a long time to think about this. You don't need to worry about spoilers or anything. I'm not going to spoil the game for you. I'd recommend you go and play it, or buy it, or watch it. Either or, but I'd recommend anyone, if you're a Boware fan, you have to play this game. You have to play this game, I'm telling you right now. But what I would like to see in Jade Empire 2, there is actually quite a lot. Now, Jade Empire does actually have a bit of a definitive ending, what the fuck ending, and this could lead to a sequel ending, because I think it has 3 endings, if memory serves me. I always went with a good one, which is the Way of the Open Palm, and what I liked about it was it did actually tie up all the loose ends. There were very few plot holes, in my opinion. In fact, there were virtually none. There was 1 or 2, but I won't go into those. And what I think they could do with the Jade Empire thing is actually, Boware have had years now to perfect their style of role-playing game, and in my opinion, they have perfected it near enough down to a T. And I really can't wait to see what they do in the future. So it is possible that they may introduce a Jade Empire 2, and what I would like to see mainly is more of the story, a whole new story, because the story in Jade Empire had an ending. Maybe it's set a couple of 100 years after the events of Jade Empire, or even a couple years after Jade Empire, mentioning your character if you want, or something along those lines. Now, what I really would like to see that as a whole new story dealing with whole new characters, but referencing, maybe having cameos from the other characters from Jade Empire, like Dawnstar, Sleep Fox, Sky. I call him the Bear, who's basically who's basically a drunk axeman, the Drunk Master, the Inventor. I can't remember all their names, unfortunately. If you do, let me know. But what I would like, fucking fireworks. Yeah, fucking fireworks. But I would like if it advanced the story, maybe created a whole new set of stories, because there is a lot of stuff that they haven't cleared up in the game at the ending, because in my opinion it did actually set up for a sequel. Not like there's going to be a sequel, but the potential of a sequel, in my opinion. And I really would like to see what happened to the world of Jade Empire, how it changed, what happened to my character, things like that. I understand, but they wouldn't be able to like do what they done with Mass Effect and import your save from the original Xbox unless you've got it on Xbox Live, which I'm trying my best to get a hold of, by the way. Maybe they could do something along those lines, or just a whole new story, revisiting the characters in the past would be quite interesting. Just a whole new story. What I would like maybe a story that does deal with the aftermath of the ending of Jade Empire, or even just a completely new story. If I'm going to be perfectly honest, I think it's a bit late to put right what happened next, 5 years later, 10 years later, or even hundreds of years later. It has a lot of potential to evolve, in my opinion. Now, as for the gameplay in Jade Empire I actually found fairly easy to do. One standard attack button, one heavy attack button, one power attack, and one block. And then you've got special abilities, healing, damage increase, shape-shifting, stuff like that. You had all of that. In my opinion, it was really good. Had a lot of variety, and you could actually customize your character immensely in the style of fighting that you done in it. And in my opinion, they don't need to change. They need to change a few things, like the interface. The interface in Jade Empire was a wee bit of a pain. I would like if they elaborated on it a bit more. Maybe go back to the traditional. Maybe go like similar to the Mass Effect levels of, or even Dragon Age, something along those lines, or even something completely different. I would also like your main character to speak. That's a must, in my opinion, because Boware have kind of screwed themselves now. All their role-playing characters now have to speak, by the way. But I really would like to see that, like, a bit more evolved gameplay. More weapons, more martial styles, even bringing some of the real martial arts styles from from the real world into the game, because in Jade Empire they had fighting styles like Thousand Cuts, which is basically lightning fast, White Demon, Leaping Tiger, which, by the way, I'd recommend if you're going to play Jade Empire, go with Leaping Tiger, because you become Wolverine with metal claws, basically. It kicks ass. But I would like them to evolve the fighting styles, maybe add some like Jeet Kune Do, Shotogan, Jiu-Jitsu, stuff like that. Throw bits and bobs of real martial arts in there, like the martial arts that they had in Jade Empire were actually elaborated from proper real martial art kicks. There was a lot of stuff in there, a lot of good punches, kicks, stuff like that. But maybe involving in some of like more of the real martial arts in the world. As for like what I would like for characters, I would like maybe if they did elaborate, because in Jade Empire you could only have one party member with you at any time, and they were either a supporting one or an offensive one. Most of the time I just left my characters as offensive because that was what they were best at. Sometimes the supporting was good, but I would like if they could maybe evolve that, give you up to 2 party members or even 3, depending on what style they were going with. I would also like to see a lot more variety and dialogue. Oh, excuse me. Dialogue with the party members if they do that. And Jade Empire, there was just like it was like Dragon Age Origin style talking, just face movements and stuff like that. I would like to maybe have a bit more variety in that, maybe character speaking, as I've said, more expressions in the eyes and stuff like that. I really would like to see some of that stuff in that game. As for the graphical style, I would actually like them to keep very close to the Jade Empire style of graphics, which is very traditional Chinese and all that, and evolving it, maybe elaborating more modern stuff into it, stuff like that. I really would like to see that for Jade Empire 2. As for anything else, it really is up to Boware. I'm just putting things that I'd like to see. As long as the story is good and it does pay, thank you to all those who may have played Jade Empire or the original one, I would like to see that. So that's what I would like to see for Jade Empire 2. This is 10 minutes long, and hope you've enjoyed it. And if you do want to see, let me know what you want for Jade Empire 2. If you played Jade Empire, let me know if you're in the middle of playing Jade Empire, or anything, what you thought of Jade Empire as well. But let me know what you would like to see for Jade Empire 2, what was your favourite part, stuff like that. So that's the end of this topic, Jade Empire 2. I actually want to make a little bit of an announcement. If you haven't seen these videos that I done with me, GamerMD, and Alex the Hunted, who was the only one to send in an audition tape, I started a series called Game Movie Auditions. I'll leave a link to a playlist. I'm going to create a playlist dedicated to game movie auditions. The order of them is still a wee bit mucked up at the moment. I'll tweak it a wee bit more. But if you want to go and watch the playlist, I'll leave an annotation to it or a link in the description to it. But what I actually want to announce is my next game movie auditions. But basically, what I want to do is I'm going to be doing Dragon Age as my next game movie auditions. Now, I will be doing a full video explaining the rules of it, how you submit your videos, and also what roles I'm looking for, which is basically just anyone. In fact, I might just do it just after this to save a bit of time, but look forward to that video. That will be my next game movie auditions, and there's a link to the description to the first 3 game movie auditions. Me and MD auditioned for Male Shape, and Fem Shape. Me announcing the cast call, and of course Alex the Hunted auditioned for several roles. But just to let you know, the Mass Effect cast one is not closed. That it's still opened. You can still audition for that. If you want to, just go back to the video cast call and do a video response on that video, linked to here. And yeah, I'll make a full video on that subject next. Probably I might do just after this weekend 8 videos. So hope you enjoyed this video. As always, if you enjoyed this video, click the like button. If you didn't, click the dislike button. As always, if you want to see more videos like these, please don't hesitate to click the subscribe button above my head. And as always, I'm Scottish182, and I'll see you all.